the argument, I guess, here is that would you kill baby Hitler?
Would I kill baby Hitler? No. I mean, I don't believe in killing anybody. We have more than enough technology and research methods to ensure that somebody who is, let's just say, born psychotic would not end up hurting a lot of people. And which, by the way, it's a liberal position because, for example, I don't believe in the death penalty, and traditionally the traditionalists and the conservative, they do. They believe in death penalty, and I don't. Now, Ben, why are you asking such an absurd question?
Someone tells you, well, that's Adolf Hitler, and if you kill it, you'll prevent the Holocaust.
So wait a minute, is the question a hypothetical condition kind of a thing? So would you kill baby Hitler, or would you kill a baby if you know that if you don't kill the baby, it would result in millions of people dying? So again, you have a condition that only if you kill the baby would it result in not 6 million people dying. Is that the condition though? Because if it is, then in a hypothetical example, yes, that's the moral thing to do. I know this sounds really bad, but a baby is nothing special, people. Okay? It's a small human being, and if we're okay with killing adult human beings, so you can frame the question like, would you kill a person if you know that killing that person would necessarily result in 6 million people not dying? So you have to kill this person in order for that to not happen. Most people would say yes, okay? Now you can specify that condition and you say, okay, but I'm not saying like that person would directly cause the 6 million people dying. So in this scenario, he's not the one who's killing the 6 million people. It's just that, let's just say he and the 6 million people isn't directly connected, but still, in this framework, you know that killing that person is the only way that would stop the 6 million people dying. Would you still do it? Again, most people would say yes, and the baby is nothing special. Sargon, I know you're a father, but you're using your emotion to judge this. It's kind of like how a lot of like male feminists out there, they use their own emotion when they think about women suffering. They think about their own mother, their sister, their girlfriend or past girlfriend or whatever. They think about that and they have this uber response, and that's ingrained in all of us. Okay, so first, when we see children suffering, we think that's more terrible than adult suffering, even though scientifically speaking, children on average simply could not suffer anywhere near as much as adults can. Okay, I mean, they don't have a fully developed cortex to understand like some deeper sufferings of humanity. That's why children are much easier to please than adults. I mean, we kind of know this. I mean, you give a child a candy and a child is happy, okay? But the adult has experienced so much in life, and they also have the full developed cortex to desire things that a child would not think about desiring. So that's why adults suffer more. But still, when we see a child suffering, we think that's just many times worse than adults. Just as when we see a woman suffering, we think that's many times worse than when a man is suffering, even though we know that scientifically men and women suffer about the same. And some studies even suggest that there are things that men suffer more than women can. Okay, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but that could be the case. But the point is, this is just our emotional response. There's nothing objective about it. A baby is not special. We have plenty of babies out there. The only thing about a baby is that, generally speaking, they don't do they don't have the potential to do nearly as much harm as an adult can. However, they also are not as capable of doing many times as good as adults can. There's kind of a trade-off with children. I mean, children doesn't contribute much of anything to society directly. they contribute to society when they grow up, but the average child doesn't contribute much to society. You can have prodigy children that could contribute something, but again, of course, there are exceptions. Generally speaking, the role of a child really is for this gratification of its parents. That's really what it comes down to. So if we treat a child just as much an innocent adult, then we can see that if you given the condition that killing that child or that person it's the only way to save 6 million people, then yes, it's morally objective. I mean, as morally objective as you can get at moral objectivity to do it.
Because baby Hitler wasn't Hitler. Adult Hitler was Hitler. Baby Hitler was a baby. And what you presumably want to do with baby Hitler was take baby Hitler out of baby Hitler's house and move baby Hitler into a better house where he would not grow up to be Hitler, right?
If you then say, well, no, we're never going to do it in a civilized society because it's better, as Ben say, to take the child out of that environment and to change the child's destiny. Then what you're saying is you're not actually sticking to your conditions. In your hypothetical, you're kind of cheating. You're not actually saying, would you kill a baby if you know it's going to save 6 million people? What you're actually saying is, would you kill a baby if you know that not killing that baby also could have a significant probability of saving the 6 million people? Then you're not saying anything. I mean, of course, like if I don't have to kill somebody in order to save 6 million people, I won't. I mean, a baby or otherwise. Okay? I mean, if I know I don't have to kill Hitler in order to save 6 million people, and that's also a possibility. I mean, if we had a time machine, our technology would be so superior that most likely, I mean, the worst case scenario, we can alter Hitler's chemicals in the brain for him to become like a nice person. Okay? I mean, that could be a possibility. Why the baby scenario? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, what the hell is this all about?
And the truth is that no pro-life person on Earth would kill baby Hitler.
Oh, okay. So this is a pro-life rally or whatever it is? I mean, are you serious? Are you seriously using killing a baby as an analogy for pro-life versus pro-choice? This is fucking stupid. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry, Sargon, but this is stupid. And the Young Turks, they're kind of, I don't know, maybe they're not prepared or some shit. I mean, they're kind of idiotic at this, but they're right for the wrong reasons. But they're right in that this is a really, really stupid analogy. Why? For a very simple reason. An embryo is not a baby, okay? A fertilized egg is not a baby. Now, I understand that in the current feminist culture, the third wave, fourth wave, whatever wave culture, there's some crazy people that think that having an abortion is something to be proud of, and that's really fucking stupid. I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. That's stupid. I mean, having an abortion is nothing to be proud of. I'm not sure if it's anything to be ashamed of either, but it's nothing to be proud of. It's like, okay, you fucked up, and now you have to take the consequences of making a choice to go through that procedure, which honestly I don't ever want to go through. Okay, it sounds terrible, but again, like if you're a pro-life absolutist, there's just no argument whatsoever. I mean, a fertilized egg has many times fewer cells than a rat or mice, and we kill rat and mice all the time. I mean, what the hell is this? I mean, if your argument is to which trimester or how long after the woman gets knocked up can she have the abortion, that's a legitimate argument. I mean, there are some pro-abortion extremists who would say even when the woman is in her third trimester aborting a fetus, that's still okay. And again, there's debate about that. I mean, debate in that regard would be the fetus would still be part of her body, so technically she should be allowed to do whatever she wants with her body. That's one of the arguments. I'm not saying like I necessarily support that. I'm just saying that's an argument to be considered. But let's say she got pregnant, and after a week, 7 days, she takes a test and she realizes she's pregnant. So, and she doesn't want a baby. So what? I mean, at that point, it's just a freaking fertilized egg. I mean, so she's not allowed to abort it. Okay, what about morning after pills? I mean, sometimes like you take pills like 2 days after. The egg might still be kind of fertilized. I mean, some pill they prevent the fertilization, but sometimes it's already fertilized and you can still take a pill and it just goes down the drain, right? I mean, so is that also not okay for a pro-life person? I don't understand why they equate a fertilized egg or even an embryo as a baby. I mean, it's not a baby, okay? I mean, babies are out of the mother's womb. I mean, it's no longer part of her, so it's like a separate thing now. So it's not like you can even use the argument that it's part of her body. It's no longer part of her body. It's being squeezed out of her vagina, and she also had 9 months to make. Well, okay, let's just say that we're not taking consideration the third trimester, but she still has months to decide, weeks and weeks to decide whether or not she has a child or not. And during those time, we have good enough technology, and it's only going to get better to determine whether your child will have some sort of predisposition to genetic disease. Now, I don't know about you, but I rather flush down the embryo than knowing that embryo will develop into a child with severe genetic disease. So the child is basically going to suffer. The person's going to suffer his or her own entire life. And I know this. Like, I know it before it developed into a freaking fetus. I know that this is going to happen. The doctor has told me so, that there's like a 97% chance that the child is going to have that. I mean, let's just say in this hypothetical scenario, since we're all doing hypotheticals anyway. Okay? So, and I still do it. I mean, I'm sorry, but I would be such a bad person to do such a thing, knowing that the child is going to grow up to suffer. Okay? Again, there's absolutely no objective argument regarding absolute pro-lifeness. I mean, I can entertain arguments regarding when the woman can have the abortion and when she could not, but no, like, sorry, this is freaking stupid. And it's also really weird because I don't know, I feel like enough people should have seen the interview between Richard Dawkins and Wendy Wright. This has been, a long time ago, years ago, when the atheist movement was still going on, and Richard Dawkins went to interview Wendy Wright, and he brought up a brilliant example, which is the human placenta that the baby feeds upon, and it's actually a genetic copy of itself, basically. And it dies, after the baby's born. The baby no longer needs it. But that much cell and the baby, it was an exact copy of each other. But we don't consider that as a human child, right? I mean, we don't say that's a baby, but yet we consider a freaking embryo to be a baby. And also, I would like to ask Ben, I mean, how does he feel about stem cell research? I mean, that used to be a big thing. I mean, again, this is really, really stupid. I mean, I don't know what argument he's trying to counter, but from what I understand, it's regarding some people saying that abortion will result in fewer people being bad or something. I mean, yeah, statistically that's true, but if that's the argument you want to tackle, I mean, you're really tackling the low-hanging fruit, because that's just, of course, that's a really dumb statement. I mean, pro-choice is, I would say it's about two major things. One is, like I said, it's about whether or not the woman's ready to become a mother, and it's better for the child to have a ready mother, okay? And now you can argue, well, women would never say she's ready. No, I mean, there's some women who really think that she's ready, and she has the financial backup, she has everything in the environment that's adequate enough for a child, and she's ready. But if you have a mother who really just feel like, no, I am really not ready, I mean, would you really want a child to be born to a mother who doesn't want the kid? I mean, I'm sorry, like, that's really bad for the child, okay? So that's number one. Number two, oh, and by the way, a sub comment about number one is it would be a more interesting topic to discuss regarding the role of the father in all of this. I think the father should also get to choose, and there's some different ways to do it. I won't get into it today, but anyways, yeah, but it's about the parents, basically the parents' decision. The second thing is regarding abortion is, yeah, I mean, we should be seriously thinking about having children who are severely defective in some way. Severe, I mean, it could be mental, like the doctor tells you, oh, your child has like a 97% chance to become a freaking psychopath or serial killer. I know that this is not true right now. I mean, we don't know that right now, but in the future we could be developing technology that we could make a really accurate prediction regarding the child's psychopathy. Okay, and also the child's health, like Down syndrome, genetic disease, things like that. I would say if the mother discovered this very early on, like before the third trimester, I wouldn't say society should push her to do it or there should be a law, but she should be. I would definitely, as a doctor, to convince her to abort because I don't want a baby suffer. I don't want a human being to suffer unnecessarily in this world when we know we have the technology to prevent all of that. Again, baby is nothing special, and an embryo and fertilized egg are not human beings, okay? Jesus Christ, I can't believe I have to say this to people. This is actually really starting to annoy me because, Ben Shapiro, I mean, again, I listen to him. I like some of what he says, but he's really, really, really manipulative. I mean, this is just such a stupid hypothetical regarding the position of pro-life, and everybody's falling for a hook, line, and sinker for some reason. I mean, nobody just basically say, wait, Ben, what are you talking about? I mean, are you using this example to support pro-life? Because again, why hasn't somebody just immediately flat out say a fertilized egg and embryo are not baby, or they're not babies? Anyways, I want to make a Gillette video that's coming up, so stay tuned.